Really excited about making this video. At the end of last year, I was all over the place. COVID really affected me. The lockdown, actually contracting the virus myself. At the time, I was living with my partner. That relationship ended and everything, like my entire world, turned upside down for me. Mentally, I was back at a place that I never thought I would be again, which made things very confusing for me. By this point, I'd been in therapy, like properly, for about a year or so. Things just kind of didn't really improve and I really wasn't understanding why. I was talking to my therapist about this, and then instead of looking at all the external things in my life, to look internally, inside. What that kind of led me to was this entire new world of learning. I learned so much about myself that I didn't know. That led me to learn about humans. I realized that past traumas have been playing a huge role in every aspect of my life. I was at the stage where I just couldn't handle simple things in my life. I had a lot of fear. I literally couldn't even be on my own. I was terrified of being alone. The biggest things that made a huge difference, myself and my family came from the Iran-Iraq war into England. But when you go through things like that, you just kind of think that's normal because you don't really have anything to compare it to. So for me, I thought I had a pretty normal childhood. That played a huge role into why I was the way I was, why I was feeling the feelings that I was feeling, why I couldn't handle certain situations, why certain situations made me feel the way I did. I mean, my therapist and I were talking, and he actually even said that I need to learn how to love myself. I honestly didn't even know what that meant. I didn't know how to love myself. I didn't even know what feelings I was feeling. I had grown up like most people and automatically just learned to suppress feelings. And I didn't even understand what feelings meant. This all led me down to a path of actually learning what trauma is. I've learned that trauma doesn't need to be this huge thing that happens in your life. It happens so much more than you would think. And possibly the most valuable things, and one of the best things I've learned in my life, is to literally how to heal from past trauma. How to resolve that past trauma. Yes, you can actually resolve past trauma and it will literally stop making you feel the way you do. This is by far the most valuable thing I have learned in my life. In the past 6 months, I've seen the biggest change in myself from simply learning how to heal from this trauma, how my body works, learning how my mind works, learning what is actually going on here. I've learned how to heal my consciousness. I've learned how to heal my mind. I've learned how to heal my body. I've learned what shadow work is. I've learned what inner child work is. I've learned how to meditate. I've learned what it truly means to start loving yourself. Not like that. I've learned how to talk to myself with unconditional love and not betray my boundaries or beat myself up. I've learned how to stop seeking external validation and how to validate myself internally and not to look for that need anymore. I've even learned how to stop worrying, how to stop the trail of thought when you're in that mode of worrying, when you're just continuously going and going and going. Let me give you a quick example. The goal is to learn how to regulate your emotions so they don't take over. Let's say you're with your partner, you're sat in the living room and they're just on social media, just scrolling away, and they just happen to make a comment that triggers a feeling of jealousy in you. Let's just say the comment is something like, "Oh, she looks really good." So usually what happens is kind of one or two things. One, the feeling takes over. Depending on how strong it is, your reaction is probably not what it would have been. Maybe what you say is more to do with that feeling than yourself. Or two, we suppress that feeling. We keep it inside and we don't say anything even though we're like really annoyed inside. To be able to regulate your emotions in a healthy way, we need to become more aware. What does that mean? We need to be more aware of ourselves in the moment. So in that moment, a way of being aware is to be aware of your body. How does my body react to this feeling? Do I get tingling sensations all over my skin? Does my heart race? Can I feel my heartbeat? Can I see my heartbeat? Do I get sweaty palms? At this point, we don't want to suppress it. The goal is to ride out the feeling and let it happen. That way we can release it. In moments like this, if you feel like it's a little bit too much, what you want to do is you want to increase your oxygen intake. So that's where deep breaths help. And sometimes I know it's hard. You may not be able to just go taking deep breaths. What you can do is literally, in the position that you are, slightly open your mouth and just breathe deep. In moments like that where you feel like the emotion is taking over, it's a good trick to remind yourself that you are your consciousness. You're not your mind, you are not your body, you are not your thoughts, you are not your feelings. Your mind is the computer for your body. You are your consciousness. So be aware and observe yourself. Hopefully at this point you've reached a level of awareness so you can allow yourself to see the situation from multiple perspectives. Usually what happens when a feeling takes over, we just react. And more often than not, we kind of look back to it and go, wish I wouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have reacted that way. Now what this allows us to do is it allows us to think more clearly. And then that way what we can do is we can see the situation from multiple perspectives. In this example, maybe your partner didn't really mean anything by it. Maybe they actually looked at the post and thought the actual image itself with the colors was a lot more aesthetically pleasing than other posts. Maybe they actually saw something and thought you would look great wearing that same thing. There could be a number of different reasons. Now this doesn't mean that everyone is innocent, but it allows you to learn how to regulate your emotions. And then in that moment, you can actually see multiple perspectives and then make a decision on how to react in the most healthiest way. Now, when I first started doing this, it was hard. This takes time. You had an entire lifetime of doing it one way. It's going to take time to get used to it and do it the other way. This is something you can continue to do. And by continuing to do it, you're essentially training yourself. You're increasing your emotional intelligence. It will take a while to get better and better at it. You just need to keep going. So, why am I telling you all this? My experience with healing this time round and everything that I've learned has literally catapulted me in terms of the speed of getting better. And not only that, but being able to resolve things so they don't keep coming up and keep appearing later on in my life, years later, weeks later, months later. It's been so incredible that I know I have to kind of get this information out there and help people. So the way I'm going to start doing that is by becoming a life coach. This is my first step into this super exciting world of helping people to heal. I'm actually really excited about where this will take me because I'm able to help people. It's great that I can actually give people really solid, good information that works. It's also about learning why certain situations are extremely challenging for you, but not so much someone else. Why you can't handle certain situations in a way that someone else might be able to. I am living proof of that. I cannot tell you, there were so many situations that triggered so many different feelings in me. And now the same situations simply don't. There's a reason why certain things trigger us. Once we find out the why, and once we heal from that why, then things won't be as hard anymore. If you know anyone that could do with help or assistance regarding anything that I've said, or anyone that's just really struggling in life, then please forward them this video. That's me for now. If you've watched all the way through to this part, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. This chair has been making this noise the entire time. I really hope this wasn't in the video. Knowing my luck, it is.